Thank you for joining me for the second module. Today we're going to take a closer look at how trauma impacts the brain specifically. First, we'll take a look at what trauma actually is. Trauma, by definition, is individual trauma resulting from an event, series of events, or set of circumstances that's experienced by an individual as physically or emotionally harmful or life-threatening, and that has lasting adverse effects on the individual's functioning and mental, physical, social, and emotional or spiritual well-being. I want to take a look at specifically how trauma impacts our brain. First, we have to understand exactly what a healthy attachment cycle looks like. I say attachment because we want to look at what is the bond between caregiver and a child. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to look at how a need is maybe expressed, and then what is the response of that caregiver, and how does that individual react to that response. So for example, if we have a need that's expressed, a baby cries, a child asks for something, anything like that, what we have to see in response is that child getting a response from a caregiver. Now, that need is expressed, the caregiver responds, the need is then fulfilled. Okay? All right, then the circle is really put together, and we have this play between a need being expressed and a need being fulfilled. Another way to think about this is with our brain neurobiology. We have our sympathetic nervous system over here, and then our parasympathetic over here. Our sympathetic nervous system is something that heightens our awareness, says something is needing to be paid attention to, and then our parasympathetic nervous system is going to calm that down. Now, what we want to look at is when a child is expressing a need, they have a sympathetic nervous system arousal, okay? And the parent or the caregiver needs to look at or respond to that child in order to bring their parasympathetic nervous system on board. This here in our sympathetic nervous system, our HPA axis in our brain receives information from other systems in our body. This puts together or increases our cortisol levels. Our cortisol levels are what increases here to address our sympathetic nervous system. When the need is fulfilled, the cortisol levels decrease and our parasympathetic nervous system is essentially what comes online. Another way to think about this is if a need is expressed, we have another kind of situation here. We have neurotransmitters that will engage, so to speak. And these are excitatory and some are inhibitory. As you can maybe guess, our sympathetic nervous system is going to increase. Our cortisol levels is going to increase the amount of certain neurotransmitters, excitatory neurotransmitters that are emitted. So we've got excitatory over here, and over here we have what's called inhibitory. Excitatory neurotransmitters are things like norepinephrine and glutamate. Over here, our inhibitory neurotransmitters are things like GABA and serotonin. In all of our neurobiological plays, or the way that our brain is put together, we have an arousal of a system, and then we'll have a calming down of that system. It's really important, as we talked about in the last module, to make sure that we have an integrated whole in our brain so that we really can have a mental health basis, so that we can develop resilience in life, so that we can be a good and fruitful member of the society. So when we have a need that's expressed, we have all these systems, our sympathetic nervous system, which is including our HPA axis and cortisol, neurotransmitters that are excitatory, our norepinephrine and glutamate. We need something also to calm those down. This cycle happens thousands and thousands and thousands of times in a child's life. It's important for that to happen thousands and thousands and thousands of times a child's life, because again, that develops the basis for mental health. One of the things that we see is what happens when a need is expressed and nobody comes to fulfill that need. What we start to see is an erasing of the development of the calming down system. When we have an erasing of, or even a non-development of that calming down system, this might be the result of trauma. This might be because a caregiver was absent for some reason, had mental health challenges of their own. But regardless of the reason, this system didn't develop, the calming down system, and you didn't have the play back and forth. So you have a child that only knows how to be excited. Their sympathetic nerve system is engaged. They only have a feeling of cortisol. They only know excitatory neurotransmitters, and those other ones that really help to calm down our systems aren't even online. We can assume and we can predict that this would be a recipe for some challenges across the road. So our job really, and we'll learn in other modules, is to learn how to get this part to be back online. In the next module, we're going to take a closer look at the connection between particularly the brain and behavior. Until next time, God bless.